Yes, the DNA expert has officially confirmed that no, all five accused have got nothing to do with anything that happened on the Mayua or on the fateful day where Mayua died. Like, we've been saying, some of us, that these five accused have seriously nothing to do with the Meyiwa case. I know that a lot of people got confused about the numbers and all these things, the swaps that were, the language that was used there. I think at the end of everything here, the judge did ask some questions and say that in a fingerprint setup, right, when they are doing your fingerprint test, if it does not meet, I think it has to meet from a minimum of 7. If it's below 7, that person is identified as negative. Meaning, if they are trying to navigate, if Bongane touched here, the fingerprint they find here, it can say Bongane up to 6, but if it doesn't say 7, then that result will be taken as negative. That means Bongane did not touch here. Do you get a point? That is the same language that was used that side to say the DNA matched 6, probably out of 10, look, because it is 6 out of 10, I know you're looking at the ratio, you're like, but we should have taken the 60%, you know what I'm saying? No, they are saying it has to be 10 out of 10. If the DNA match 10 out of 10, that means this is the person we're looking for. But if it's 6 out of 10, it's negative. That person did not touch that particular product. That's how the principles that they are using in that they are using in the laboratory department, particularly forensic department here, SAPS, yes. So that's how they came to a conclusion. I know it caused a lot of confusion. Well, let me unpack, provided that you are interested. If you are interested, then please stick around. As you stick around, there is only one favor that I'm requesting from you guys, and that favor is that you subscribe, like the video, and comment in the comment section below. Guys, I think why do you need to do all of those nice things? Well, let me tell you, you need to do it because doing it does help out a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. Well, if you subscribe, you like the video, let's talk about liking the video. If you like the video, you comment, you share this video, you watch this video longer, and you also watch the ads. It helps in terms of telling the algorithm and forcing the algorithm to say, yeah, you need to spread this video to more people. Thus, this information gets to more people. Don't you want that? If you do, the power is in your hands. Now, I need to plug my laptop here, guys. I don't know what is happening with my laptop, but whatever it is that is happening, indeed, it is happening. Now, before I start, yes, my laptop is in. Yes, before I start. Now, the DNA, Mr. Masetla, even if I have to read the person in more than one region, it is not enough. You have to read him in all the region to say they are contributor. Remember that I said, I made it an example about I made an example about a person being read in 10 regions, but it is 10 against, look at this, actually the total regions are 16. So the person must be read in all 16 regions, that in comparison to 16 regions. So if in comparison to 16 regions, the person only tests positive 5 times, 6 times, 10 times, that is considered negative. Guys, I know some of you guys you're not quick learners. Even on Twitter, they ask me, but how does that thing work? I'm so confused. A lot of people are confused. Simple and straightforward, guys. They design. Look, they look at the number of tests that they need to do specifically for that particular DNA sample that they are dealing with, because you find that to some people it is 5 versus 5. Look, you find that they've done 10 samples. Out of 10, only 4 were matching positive. The other ones do. So the number is always not consistent. It varies as per the requirements or as per the samples that they have. So you find that they say in accused number, I make an example, accused number 1, You find that they say he tested positive in 3 regions out of 10 regions. But you go to maybe accused number 4, you find that he's tested 7 out of 16 regions. So that the regions, from what I've understood, they are not determined or they are not consistent just because it's accused number 1 to 5. They all have the same regions. No, they are determined by the samples on that specific individuals they have, and then they measure all those things, and then they come to a conclusion. So each region, if it tests positive aside, negative aside, and then you weigh the balance. But for it to be considered positive, it must test, each region must test positive. If they have 16 samples on you and all of them test positive, that means you were in that DNA. You are positive in that DNA. I hope that with that being said, now we were told to get Uguti. I'm not going to go into the details of Mapisa and accused number 4 being local. I'm not going to go into that one where I have it here, right? I'm just showing you that I have the information, but I don't think it is necessary for your liking. So then Mapesa tells us that this accused number 4 must be excluded on both all the swaps, right? He goes on to tell us that I tested him even against the head that was found there and all the other samples, the catches and all the stuff. He tested him and found him to be testing positive there and there, but in totality tested negative. And then he says excluding. So he does the same thing with the likes of Bongan and Tanzi, was read or could have been found positive or was found positive in 10 out of 16 regions. And then at the end, remember, the goal is to find you positive in all 16. But because it is 10 out of 16, guess what? He's excluded. I ended up enjoying, in the beginning I didn't enjoy it, but I ended up enjoying, I ended up saying it, oh, okay, this is how this whole thing works. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. So, Mongani Tanzi, like I told you, 10 out of 16, you exclude him. It's negative. It's not positive. In order for it to be positive, it has to be 16 out of 16. Now that you get that, then so we are done with accused number 2. He was also included in some of the regions, but then because it is 10 out of 16, therefore he is excluded. He goes to accused number 3, Ngube. He does the same thing. He was found to have been testing testing positive in 7 regions out of 16, and you know almost the result. So the conclusion was that he is excluded. I ended up enjoying this thing. You know what I'm saying? Accused number 1, DNA isn't found in the regions from the swap, and some he's excluded. Some of the regions, like accused number 1 was the most with the most negative. I think he scored very low in terms of positive regions where he was found to have, DNA linked here. But and after all, accused number 1 negative, and then we came to the Mr. Accused number 5. Accused number 5. They couldn't find much of DNA there. But the conclusion, after doing all the tests on Fisogu Hlentuli, they came to a conclusion that Fisogu Hlentuli must be excluded because nothing positive on Fisogu Hlentuli. Do you see what I'm trying to show you? That I read this whole thing, but it is not important that I go through all these things, because at the end of the day, it's just me relating an information that will take you into one conclusion. There's a question which I thought it is important for your information. Advocate Baloyi, do you only have inclusion and exclusion, or is there a particular inclusion? Masetla then we will conclude and said that we include and exclude. Where we don't include, then we say no conclusion. That means they say that sometimes you find that, I needed to explain this as well. They said that sometimes out of 15 regions that they have, I think they found maybe you are matching positive 14. Then they say they will not make a decision there because it's too close to positive, yet far from negative. But remember, the law is that they need to get it to 16. So if it is 16, I mean, if it is not 16, but it's 14 or 15, then they can write good. They did not come to a conclusion there. They said no conclusion. You are either negative or positive. To see the point. But in this, all 5 accused, they never came to a point of saying, hey, we don't know whether we should say this is negative or positive. They could all come to one conclusion: negative, 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 negative. So they are not linked to. There's no DNA that links all these people. Thus, with Moses Biya was all say that in some of the regions was found to be negative and positive, but the conclusion was that he must be excluded, which became, I was like, Then Advocate Ramasepere had asked this question. They didn't have much questions here. Advocate Ramasepere had asked that about the crutches. Can you comment on the fact that that some in the house said that the head belongs to one of the intruder? Baloyi rejected or objected that. Baloyi says there are many factors that can lead to where a suspect DNA is not found or is not found in the crime scene is in general. Masetla says, for me, it'll be a common knowledge to say in your DNA, if a DNA or if your DNA is not found on the crime scene, for me it will say you didn't touch anything on the crime scene. But he was like, no, I'm not going to go into this one. Let's go back to the question asked by Advocate Ramasepede in a moment, but let's start with this one. When he said that he did not touch anything in the crime scene if your DNA does not match positive, that alone, we couldn't take it. You know why? Because according to Zandi, Tumelo, Mtogo, this guy, Senzo Meyiwa, had pinned one of the suspect against the wall. So either way, we should have found the DNA. You know what I'm saying? We should have found the DNA of these people either in the door, because the door, guys, nababayang pazamisa. Okay, the court is back. I'm recording it during the lunchtime. I'm sorry, guys, for that noise. Nevertheless, again, so we should have found something there, because if not the handle, but we should have found it again. Look, either on Senzo Meyiwa, as they were doing the DNA test on Senzo Meyiwa's clothing and the body, because he had pinned one of the suspect against the wall. We should have found something on Senzo Meyiwa that links some of this suspect with Senzo Meyiwa, right? We should have also found the DNA of the people on the wall, because they've been pinned against the wall. Number 2, we should have found their DNA on the crutches, because Tumelo and the other people were using the crutches to beat the suspect in this case. Number 3, according to the DNA expert, you know, when as you are sweating, that is used to get your DNA test, right? So you've got a head that belongs to the suspect that is found on the floor. But guess what? All these 5 people, there is nothing that links them to that DNA, meaning that head does not belong to them. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and then you should have found their DNA where? I forgot the other one as well, where you could have found their DNA. So you can tell, good, nah, please release these children. We are not saying these people are not guilty of any crime or any other crime, but we are saying, as far as the Meyiwa case, Senzo Meyiwa case is concerned, these people have got nothing to do with this case. You know, it can't be that their DNA does not match positive in all these things. You know what I'm saying? Senzo Meyiwa's body, the wall where you should have found the door. You know what I'm saying? Now, like even on the tiles, there's nothing in the house that can match positive with their DNA. Guys, there's something fishy about this, and we've been saying that. This thing doesn't make sense. Then let's go back to the issue of the head, of which I've already highlighted, which was highlighted or asked by Advocate Ramasepede. What happened to that head? And Advocate George Baloyi objected. He knew exactly that this question is getting him really under pressure. Is throwing him under a bus, because that the experts have said, even as you are sweating, we can take your sweat, we can find a DNA there. So that head, we could have found something, even though the head was touched by Makumalo. The DNA could have come out and said, this is here we find Makumalo's his fingerprints, but also we find the suspect here. You know what I'm saying? Here, we should have found the suspect as the suspect is sweating. We should have found something here. But guess what? In this head, we found nothing that matched positive. On the crutches, as you are beating them somewhere here, we should have found something, because as you are beaten, you are most likely to, you know what I'm saying, try to block it this way, or if it hits you, we should have found something, but there's nothing that is matching. That tells you that makes you ask the question: in terms of this thing, did we really have intruders in this house? So with all these things with all that being said, I can conclude and I can confirm to you that there was no intruder in that house, based on the fact that we are busy trying to find an evidence here, but we're finding none. You know what I'm saying? There's actually zero that links this. And I told you even yesterday that according to what we know, because we listen, the problem is we don't just come up with this information. We listen very carefully. But as we listen, we then ask questions. We were told, Masondo confirmed, that even the gun that was found on accused number 3 or number 4, I think it's accused number 3, there's nothing that links that gun, that 9mm, to the case of Senzo Meyiwa, right? But he's being linked to that case. Anyway, now you remember that the defense asked Mangena, and they asked Habamosia and Mhlahlo about the bullet that was found next to the jar. Whether it was taken, a DNA was done on that or not, it was not done. The DNA was not done on the gun as to whether or not accused number Carlos Gadla Mncube had touched that gun or not. All of that was not done. Now the DNA comes back and says negative, but we are supposed to believe that these are the right people, as others would like. I see some other people trying to scare me on Twitter, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, my man, I'm not scared. You know what? I'm not scared. We want your location. What are you going to do with my location? If you want to talk to me, talk to me. You go DM me. I'm not scared. You know what I'm saying? But guys, I think sitting here and looking at every evidence that is being presented before us, I can tell you this: there's nothing. So with all this evidence that is being presented before us, like I've mentioned, the issue of crutches where their DNA is not found, the issue of the door where their DNA is not found, the issue of testing this suspect against Senzo Meyiwa, their DNA does not match, but we are told that he had pinned one of the suspects against the wall. The issue of the 9mm, the DNA says nothing about that. There's nothing in the DNA that says, look, accused number 3 or 4, look, is the one that was found with the, look, there's no DNA that links him with the gun to say he had been using that gun. Nothing. Now, on top of that, we are expected by faith to believe that these are the right people. I mean, honestly speaking, we then get to be told that this liar that has just testified, called Zungu, he was busy wasting our time there, telling us about how he has been with them and seen them exchanging firearm and all the stuff. This liar who goes there, forget about this lie. You know what I'm saying? So are we then supposed to sit here and be cool with all the lies that are going on there, and just because these people have committed other offense does not mean that they are guilty in this offense? Let's set that, and it is their constitutional right not to be punished just because they are punished of a certain, or they are guilty on a certain sin. No. Take for instance, accused number 5, Fisogo Hlentuli. I think he's serving about, is it 6 life sentences, right? It's more than 3, right? That I know it for a fact. So you can't say just because there is a proof that he does take people's life, and you can't use that and say even Senzo Meyiwa his life was taken by him. No, it doesn't work like that. Not only does it doesn't make sense constitutionally, but also doesn't make sense morally so, and biblically it doesn't make sense. So I'm trying to say, even culturally, it doesn't make sense. You cannot punish these 5 people on the basis of their previous conviction. No, you can't. Or even the current conviction on other criminal activities. You cannot. Let us be clear on the matter. We are not saying they are not criminals, but we are saying do not punish them for the crime they've never committed. In the case of Senzo Meyiwa, there is nothing that links accused number 1 up to 5. Therefore, please exclude accused number 1 to 5. Give us the real killers, the ones that are being shielded. We want the real killers. That's all we're asking. We are saying because we've got that intellectual capacity to comprehend what is happening, we are saying we are being shoved with wrong people, and we are not pleased about that. We are saying give us the right people. That's all we are asking for, right? So I see a lot of people commenting and saying we're hating them. These people, at some point, they said that they don't know each other. I don't care how much they lied about their identity. I don't care. All I care about is, do I have evidence that links them to the killing of Senzo Meyiwa? Even if they lied about their name and their location, I don't care. But what I care about is, do we have evidence that links them to the because here we are not talking about any other case, but we are talking about this case of Senzo Meyiwa. If there is nothing that links them to the case of Senzo Meyiwa, whether they have said they are white people, whether they are black people, I don't care. I don't give a damn about that, right? Is there any evidence that links them to that case? No. Therefore, please remove these people. Give us the right people. That's all I care about. So don't get it twisted. I saw some people saying to me, yeah, but they once said that they don't know each other, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Not even a swimming pool. You can't use that. You know, it's a pity that the people who are trying to convince me about that, they are using Zungu's words and say Zungu says they know each other. I can't trust even Zungu. Who trusts Zungu to begin with? Zungu, he must thank God that he's testifying unseen and unknown by people. Because if Zungu had testified with his facial expression, with his face displayed on the screen, I'm telling you, there's no one who would have liked his case to be handled by Zungu. No one. I don't think there's anyone that trusts Zungu in this country except those that are blind. But majority of people in this country, they don't trust Zungu because, for a reason, if you are a police officer, you see criminal activity happening, you don't report it. The next thing you want us to believe your testimony. You confess of driving under the influence of alcohol for more than 40 kilometers moving from Vosloorus to Tembisa. You get into a freeway driving under the influence of alcohol. You confess that you drove. Number 2, you were using a state vehicle. Somebody reported a case there. There was no car available for that person to assist. When you took the state car, the state vehicle, you went to Vosloorus. You were chilling at Vosloorus. You saw nothing wrong about that. Number 3, you took a firearm. The state provided by the firearm provided by the state. Number 3.1 there, the firearm laws does not allow you to place your firearm. Guys, I'm telling you this. The firearm law does not allow me to go and buy a firearm when there is no firearm safety in this house. There must be a firearm safety in this house, right? So if I don't have that, I shouldn't even bother about buying a firearm. But there we have seeing a police officer that is supposed to be upholding and defending the Constitution, breaking the Constitution, is very much confident. And when somebody says Zungu might have made a deal with the state, that is why he went there to lie, because he struck a deal with the state. And I agree, based on the information that I know, at the information at my disposal, which I'm not going to share because I did not get the green light to share. Zungu is a man that leaves a law to be desired. So in all totality, I'm trying to wrap up the things that we saw here, where we are trying to linking people that have got nothing to do with this case. And we've been saying, just to add on this one, the very same liar says that when he met with Makubu, they did not have an interest in him. In the information he was bringing, they had an interest on his character. Why people who are well experienced, by the way, Warrant Officer Makubo, he is a member of the Hawks, right? So he deals with priority crimes. So he met with this constable, and instead of just feeling the sense that, you know what, he was one of us, let me just focus on his information, they asked him the question, do you know the Kumalos? Why are you defending the Kumalos? For that, it tells me something. They saw it from the beginning that Zungu leaves a lot to be desired. You know what I'm saying? I trust Makubu. I don't know Makubu, but I trust Makubu, and I trust Makubo, not Makubo, not Makubu. I trust Makubo and Buthelezi. Those cops, I trust them. I wish I can meet with them, sit with those, because those cops, they sound like they are honest. So I'm saying, you are given a man who even confirm under oath that other police have questions about his character. But today we are expected to trust him. So you take everything that has been shoved to us now and you put it together and you ask this question. Makubo even asked, the day you said when you know, look, you were with accused number 5, he says you are lying. I am the one who arrested accused number 5 for the killings in KZ, and I know where everything about that guy. So he then told him you are lying. Now the DNA confirms what Makubo said. When Makubo said, you are lying, you were never with this guy. I wish there was a DNA done at that Foster's hostel. You'll find that, like we've been suspecting, you'll find that there's no DNA as well. You find that there's no DNA that links or that backs him up. Remember the question that was asked by Advocate Mshololo. She asked this question. Beside yourself, who else can testify that indeed you were at Foster's and you were with them? Guess what he said? He said only the investigators. Investigators that are on his side as well. We can't trust them. We need other people. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Do you see where I'm going with this? There is a problem with this, with this case, where we are being given information that is false and our intellectual capacity is being belittled. People think we can't comprehend, yet we do comprehend. And we can see that this is not the right people. And in conclusion of the whole matter, the reason we are feeling how we are feeling, it is simply because we understand that what is happening with the Meyiwa family, it is most likely to happen to us. It is most likely to happen to one of us. There are so many people who are in the same shoes with the Meyiwa family who are not given justice. So that's what we don't like. I sit here with a lot of information, cases that just disappears in court. Some cases don't even get to court, but there's enough evidence, but police choose not to investigate. Yet you've got police officers who love their jobs, Makubo and Buthelezi, then get punished by corrupt officers. And are we supposed to keep quiet when they want to arrest the right people? And I keep telling you guys, the name of SAPS is being brought into dispute by people such as Constable Zungu. Something is got to be done about such police. And I told you guys that it has got a negative impact, a negative connotation to the name SAPS. People do not trust police. And that these Zungu people who are going there, they are not helping, but adding salt on top of that, on top of the wound, where people do not trust police. This is the case where the South African Police Service should have made an example, but they are failing on a daily basis. On top of them failing on a daily basis, they are now trying to prosecute, as we have heard, allegedly, Constable Warrant Officer Makubo, who works under Hawks, has been threatened to say he needs to stop investigating them because his investigation is going to reveal that some members of the SAPS have stolen documents that implicate the people in the house, and they will be charged for stealing such information. And they know that Makubo has got such information, and that's why they want to finish Makubo, because they don't want they will rather continue in corruption. They will rather continue in corruption than to be clean. Being clean to them, it's actually next to impossible. That is what we are seeing right now. So if we are seeing such things, are we going to trust police? No, are we not? Police needs to set a standard, and the bar has to be so high that when we see police, we must feel Number one, safe. Number two, we must feel that, you know what, we are in the presence of police. They can protect us, but we cannot say the same if things like this are happening. If we lose confidence, we are most likely to end up taking the law into our hands whenever we see criminal activities. I'm going to repeat myself. The case of Senzo Meyiwa is a case where police were supposed to set the bar too high. They were supposed to make sure that they convinced the nation to trust them. But unfortunately, they keep failing. And they know for a fact that we don't trust them. We don't believe that accused number 1 and 5 are the right people. On top of that, there was an information from a cell phone expert, Mr. Lambasta Stein, where he said that where he was trying to link these people and paint them as hitmen. We said no problem, we'll take that. But those people were linked to Kelly Khumalo, and nothing has been done to Kelly Khumalo because the state knew and had this information prior to this case, to the beginning of this case. So there's nothing that was done to Kelly Khumalo. Then you begin to ask yourself a question. Who get arrested and who doesn't get arrested? The ones that don't get arrested, yet they are linked to the very same crime where which those who are arrested for, then is this still about the law, or it's now about who has the money? Why is she not arrested if then the other ones, we're supposed to believe them to be hitmen on the basis of the SMSs that we have been told. But the person who then is playing a key role of being a mastermind in this thing is not arrested. How are we going to trust this? It's not helping. Every time the state calls an expert, we see more loopholes. It leaves us with more questions than answers. And it makes us doubt them even further. If it was according to me, by now, this long list of witnesses that does not make sense, we could have just stopped with them. Because from day one, we have seen that these people, they are not the killers of Senzo Meyiwa. What we just want the killers of Senzo Meyiwa. That's it. We want the real ones. And we will stop making noise for these people. We will forget about their inconsistency. If only you just give us the right people, we will be out of their faces. We will now focus on something else. But because we are not being given, we are being fooled broad daylight. That's why the case trend on every single day when it is on session. And you must read the comments. There are people who believe that these are the right people. But in comparison, the ones that don't believe that these are the right people, you'll find that there are probably 95% of people don't believe that these are the right people. Only 5% who are working hard on Twitter trying to insult us, trying to threaten us so that we can believe as they believe. But we're not going to be threatened. You're not going to change our perception about this. Unless otherwise you bring the right people, you're not going to change us, right? There are very few people who are still confused whether these are right or wrong. Very few people. But majority of people have taken a stand like me. And I've already told you that I believe that these might have committed crimes somewhere else. But I don't believe that they have anything to do with the case of Senzo Meyiwa, to be specific. I don't believe that. So give me the right people. You will see. I won't make any noise. And we will not be opposing anything that is being said. If only we are given the right people. That's all we are asking for. Right? Having said all of that, I'm going to leave with this few questions. According to you, do you even trust the state? Just to begin with, do you even trust the state? Do you even trust police? Let's leave that one. Looking at the case of Senzo Meyiwa and all the police that have testified there, I want to ask you this question. Has it ever inspired confidence in you to say, wow, you know what? Except this police guy that I still salute even today, I think that's the most honest police I have ever listened to. Most honest police. I will want to be served by that police. Yeah. That police, man, seems to be very honest, straightforward police. That's all we are asking for. Nothing much, nothing less. There's nothing complicated there. Right. Till the next video, good people. Please take care.